No, that's right. I'll be seeing Tim just now for this. We're going to hypnotize the fat away.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about. Hi, my name's Tim Warren with HypnoConsult in Manassas, Virginia. I am your neighborhood mind mechanic. That's really what I do. If you're able to change your mind, control your mind, you can control your life. But let's talk about some of the aspects of that. I'm going to just look at a sheet because I have a general outline of what I want to talk to you about, and I want to make sure I cover everything. So, first of all, how is that helping you? That's the question you have to ask of absolutely everything you do in your life. If it's not helping you, why are you doing it? Sometimes people do things because they get used to doing them, even if they're harmful. It's the concept of the frog in the boiler. The frog just gets used to it more and more and more, and then something that eventually harms them. They continue with it. There are people you've known in high school, people you've met in your life, who were excellent for you. They helped you go forward. They did incredible things for you. But then you graduated from high school. You moved to a different part of your life. And those people no longer are helping you. What you're doing is you're going back to the previous experience, previous positive feelings. But those are memories. And memories are like an ice cube in a frying pan. They turn to steam. They do nothing for you. So what you want to do is pick those things in your life that move you forward. Everything in life is energy. It comes down to that. During the precursor of this, we heard people talk about yoga, about access bars, about massage therapy, about organizing groups and meetings and all the rest of this. All that is based on one thing, energy. And energy is not good or bad. It's energy. It's how it is utilized. Okay? Thoughts are energy. If you have a thought, it creates within you a physical response. Now I said I was going to have somebody volunteer. I'm going to put on a mask briefly. But I want to show you how powerful your thoughts are. Anybody can come up. This is fine.
I can do it.
Oh, that would be great. I appreciate Yaya. All right. Now, the bad thing about this is Yaya's coming up, and Yaya's incredibly beautiful, and part of her face is going to be covered by a mask. Come a little closer so I can show this. Now, what I'd like you to do, Yaya, you have kids, right?
I do.
Put your right arm out. Okay?
Out.
Put it out real strong. Now, what I want you to do is make your arm really strong. Make it as strong as you can. Okay. Now, Yaya, what I want you to do is say, I love my kids.
I love my kids.
Okay. Keep it strong. Yaya, I want you to tell me, I hate my kids.
I hate my kids.
Yaya, I want you to say, I love myself.
I love myself.
Okay. Now I want you to say, I hate myself.
I hate myself.
Okay. That's good. Have a seat. Good. Now I'm showing you something. This is essentially a brief demonstration of muscle testing. We have to be congruent with who we are. If we're not congruent with who we are, we're not willing to accept the benefit of access bars. We're not willing to do the incredible methods of massage that Diane can give us. We're not willing to go and do the yoga that allows us to become more flexible because we do not feel worthy of it. We create a barrier of negativity that repulses anything that could be beneficial for us. The one question I ask all my clients is this: who is the most important person in your life? It would seem like a selfish question. Obviously, they're going to say, I love my mom. I love my children. I love my husband. I love my wife.
Why did there
I love all
song,
those
though?
people. Well, guess what? If you don't love yourself first, you're not loving them. We have incredible healers here. We have people, on the internet as well. And all of them are moving toward one direction. They are moving toward their greatest happiness. But to do that, they have to be able to accept that they deserve that happiness, that they are the most important person in their lives. And there's a reason for that. When your son comes to you and he has an issue, we'll call it an issue, not a problem because it's an issue. The words you choose also are very important. Words I've heard used a lot are hope and try. Hope and try are words that tell you you may not succeed. Eliminate those words from your vocabulary. Do it. There's going to be, in Fredericksburg, there's someone setting up, going to be the president of the holistic healthcare chapter there. She's going to do it. We know that's going to happen. You put it out there, you manifest it, and you make it true.
Absolutely.
Now, a person comes into your life somebody you care about, you love, your son, for example. Your son says, Mom, I need 16 cupcakes for school tomorrow. Now, if your well of joy, happiness, rapture within your life is low, this child you love, this child that you carried for 9 months, this child you held for the first time as a nurse gave the child, your son, to you, and you held them and you looked at them and swore you'd love them like nothing else. If your well is depleted, you haven't loved yourself enough. You'll make the cupcakes, but you end up giving it with resentment. You never want to give love with resentment. But if you take care of yourself, if you feel fantastic, if you feel like you could conquer the world, you have this well of happiness, joy. The word I love is rapture. Leo Biscaglia loved that word, and I like Leo Biscaglia. Anyway, if you have this overabundance of joy and all the rest of that, when someone comes to you, you give to them with total love, compassion. And that gift becomes that much more powerful, that much more meaningful. And as they walk away with those 35 cupcakes, because you ended up eating one, sorry about that, they walk away, you realize that act of love reflects not just on them and on their kids, on their friends, but on yourself. Because you had taken such good care of yourself, you could take care of the people around you. So, by taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your children. You're taking care of your spouse. You're taking care of your family. You're taking care of your friends. You're taking care of your employees if you have them. You're taking care of your boss. You're taking care of your entire universe. Because the fact is, you are your own individual universe. And what we want to do is make sure your foundation of your universe, that foundation is built on solid ground. And the first thing you need to do is, I love this foundation. I love myself. And from there, everything else can build. Now, with that understood, some of the things we hold on to, and I have people here, you will not be able to see them, but I'm going to ask you to take the bottles I gave you. Okay? They all have scotch. The reason they have it is, my presentation is not very good, and if they're blotter, they will not know. Okay, cancel. It's a good presentation. I don't want to say negative things. This is a bottle. Think of this bottle as stress in your life. What happens is an appointment comes with you with a client you may not like. And what happens is you have a stress. And the stress tells you, you need to take action. You need to prepare. You have to have your mindset so you can absolutely give the best to them. That is what stress has done for you. It told you that you needed to take action. After that, it no longer serves a purpose. Unfortunately, we hold on to the stress. Because it helped me. It helped me. It prepared me for this person, allowed me to change my mindset. So I'm just going to keep it hanging out there. The client's there, the stress is still there. How can you possibly give them the best of yourself if you're still holding on to stress? Stress serves the purpose. After it serves the purpose, you drop it. You let it go. I'm going to drop this. Hopefully it won't break. But the fact is, I don't have that weight anymore.
Right.
I've let it go. But it did everything it had to. In life, there are two things: gifts and lessons. Gifts and lessons. Okay? I've done work with Uma before. Uma is an incredibly gifted healer. She sees things in incredible ways, and I get a really great perspective on how to help other people heal from Uma.
Now you say that after I finish the live?
Now, there's a reason. What I have done is I've given Uma a gift. I gave Uma that gift, this compliment to her. And at that point, Uma has a choice, because all life is choice. Her choice is to say, Tim, thank you, that means a lot to me, especially coming from you. But beyond that, it just means a lot. And that does something for Uma. It tells her, A, what Tim said to me is absolutely true. I deserve to feel good about myself. I'm not rejecting that positive comment. I'm accepting the gift. Beyond that, She honors me by saying how important it was that I gave her that gift, that I had additional merit in her eyes. So that gift is a two-way reciprocal thing. But Uma also had the opportunity, and she didn't do it because I didn't give her a chance, to say, no, that's not true, Tim. You're wrong. I do great stuff, but there are so many people who are better than I am. At the subconscious level, at the deepest level, at the energy level of thought, emotions, all the rest of that, that's telling her she does not deserve to feel good for herself. So when other things come to her that are beneficial, she's going to reject them because she's already determined from the way she rejected that gift that she's not worthy of them. Beyond that, she's saying, Tim, you said that to me, you're a lying sack of protoplasm. She's essentially insulted me as well.
How could
That's what happens with you. How could you do that?
I invited him here.
The fact is, that's it. But the fact is, that's what gifts are. You have an opportunity to show that you love yourself and you appreciate the people who give it to you. And when you do it in the right way, it manifests and extends out. It prepares you for all the things in your life that are good. And it allows you to realize, not only am I willing to accept this, this is the best thing for me, and I can feel good about myself for accepting it. It becomes a pattern, it becomes the path, it becomes the energy flow that you're creating within yourself. Because every thought, every idea, every action is energy. Well, what else is there? Are there just gifts in the world? Well, no, there are lessons too. The negative things that occur in your life, what you can do is hold on to them, like that hot rock. The hot rock might keep your hand warm in the winter for a while, but eventually if you hold on, it burns you. If someone comes to me and they say, Tim, I don't like the way you dress. It's a lesson, and I have the opportunity to learn from it. But the negativity they give me is negativity they're giving to me, and I don't need to take it. I am in full control. Sir Anthony Hopkins, brilliant actor, actually a really good composer too. If you listen, he wrote a waltz that's played, just incredible. He is a Renaissance man. But one of the things he said, and he quoted someone else, but I'll give him credit for it, he said, your opinion of me is none of my business. You are your own universe, and you determine who will get in. They say I dress funny. I have an opportunity to take that lesson. I analyze this. You know what? I could dress better, you're right. I'm accepting that. I'm accepting the lesson that's involved. The anxiety, the stress, the guilt serve no purpose for me. I'm letting those go and I'm taking the lesson. Unfortunately, when someone says something negative to you, or you have a bad impression, you have a bad session, you tend to hold on to it. You wallow in that sadness. You wallow in the anxiety. You wallow in the stress. This becomes your bath that you're allowing every cell of your body to absorb. But if everything that comes to you is a lesson or a gift, there is no negativity. And your body quickly, meticulously rejects negativity. It cannot be there. We talk about manifesting things in our lives. But if all you are is looking for the best things in life, if all you are is a recipient of all the good things that come to your life, and a learner, and someone who learns from the negative things, nothing in your life can be bad. Now, I say this and people say, let's not be Pollyannish. There are going to be negative things that occur in your life and they're going to pull you down. Absolutely right. You have someone there who's in hospice care, somebody you care about, someone you love, someone you spent years with. And you realize in the next 2-3 hours they're going to pass on. You're holding their hand. And you watch them as they begin to deteriorate. You can see their breathing getting shallow. That sound, that reverberation of their lungs beginning to shut down. And you look at them, and the moment comes where their physical body stops, their spirit ends, and they move on. You have a choice. You realize I can sit here and I can feel all that pain. I can feel that sense of loss. I feel all those things. Or you can take a moment and ask, why am I feeling these things? Why am I feeling that incredible sense of loss? And you realize that person meant so much to you. You had experiences together that were incredible, that created a love, a connection that can't be broken by life or death. All those memories, all those positive thoughts, all those energies are still there. But we have an illusion. We believe that positive energy has died with the body. It has not. And you have the choice to think about the sadness, the sense of loss, or you reflect on the reason I'm feeling this loss is because of all the love we shared, all the good times we had together, all the stupid things we did together and were able to laugh about before. And if I did not have any of those wonderful positive things, there'd be no pain, no anguish, no sense of loss. Would I give up all that joy, all those moments of reflection, all that growth that that person allowed to come into my life? And I allowed, because they were important to me, I let them in. Do I want all that to disappear and I'll never feel the pain? I ask my clients that specific question, and I'll tell you, I've yet to have one that said, yeah, I don't want the pain, I don't want to have any of those memories. What do you focus on? What you focus on, the way you view life, is what your life will become. Gifts and lessons. Now, with that in mind, the gifts or lessons create the filter for your life. They create the filter for your life. If everything that comes to you realize has to go in one of these two categories, gifts or lessons, there's nothing negative. So how could your life go down the wrong path? If you have created that filter of gifts and lessons, when something happens to you, you quickly begin to put it into one of those two categories. And if you're able to do that, and you do it, and you create a habit of creating gifts and lessons, habits are reflexive. They're without thought. They just come automatically. They're subconscious. And when they do, you'll begin seeing all the negative things that occur in your life exactly as what they are. The lessons to allow you to move forward. I'm very lucky. My wife and I have horses. When I get up in the morning, my wife is not able, I go out and I feed my horses. And in the stalls are horse poop. Lots of horse poop. Why do I feed them? Just so they can poop in the stall. That fecal matter, that poop, ends up being scooped out and moved into a huge pile on our property. And within 6 months, that poop, that crap, I could use the S word, but I won't. All that has turned to something different. That becomes the fertilizer. That becomes the feed for all the plants, all the crops that some of my neighbors want. They come to me and look at something that 6 months ago was something I was trying to discard. And they use that on the ground to allow things to grow. Think of that as the lessons that have come into your life, the negative things that come into your life. And at that moment you may think of it as a negative, but by doing, in Greek they call it the peripeteia, the turning around. By turning it around, you can turn it into the fertilizer that allow your life to be better, happier, and stronger. No one can do that for you except yourself. Okay? Now, the other thing, put it away. Oh, right, life is a choice. Life is a choice between fear and love. Life is a choice between fear and love. There's an overriding principle. The subconscious mind is always trying to protect you. It's trying to protect you from danger, real and imagined. There are times that you've gone to sleep and all of a sudden your heart begins racing. Or there's a time when you woke up and you're breathing hard. What happens is when there's a trauma in the system, there's fight, flight, or freeze. One of those three things. You take the action. Okay, I'm flying. I can get out of here. I don't have to hold on to that negativity anymore. But even when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is always protecting you. You train your subconscious mind by habit. You mold it. You know, you're Pygmalion, taking that clay and turning it into exactly what you want it to be. Your mind is so powerful. All you have to do is realize it is. I'll give you an example. About 3.5 years ago, one of our dogs, because the dog injured me, it was my dog, not my wife's. That's how that works. If it does something bad, it becomes mine. I have a horse that's the same way. When the horse is good, it's my wife's horse. When it's bad, it's my horse. I'm used to it. I can reject that. That's fine. Her name is Terry, and Terry happened to be underneath foot, and I was cleaning my office, which is always a mess because I like it being a little messy. I decided to pick up some things behind the couch. As I turned, Terry, who was 13.5 years old, I didn't want to hurt her, was underfoot, and I began to fall. I knew I could put my foot down, but I might land on her and hurt her, and I didn't want to do that. So I ended up landing on my shoulder. As I landed on my shoulder, my thoughts were, I love you, Terry, I love you. I'm so glad I didn't hurt you was my most important thought at that moment. And I focused on that. As I got up, I realized, you know what? My shoulder hurts. Oh, okay. Pain. Can pain serve a purpose? Yeah, it tells you you need to see a doctor. But you know what? I'm a hypnotist. I killed the pain. I got it down to about a 2. Scale of 1 to 10, a 2. No problems. And I walked around for a while. Couldn't really lift my arm very much. I said, okay, it's a 2. I'm a hypnotist. I'm able to really release pain. But if it's still there, the pain is serving a purpose in my life. It's telling me this has to be addressed. You can't just let it go. Okay, I drove to the urgent care. The doctor said, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your pain level? About a 2. Oh, okay, we'll get back to you. 5.5 hours later, they came and they took an x-ray. They x-rayed my shoulder. The doctor came in white-faced. Okay, just the blood had drained out of her face. She said, why aren't you screaming? And I said, why would I scream? You've got to be in intense pain. I said, well, I came here. I mean, you're going to help me, right? Yeah. So the pain doesn't serve a purpose. I killed it so I don't have to hold on to it that much. She said, you fractured your shoulder. It's one of the worst breaks we've ever seen, and dislocated it.
Wow.
You need to go and get surgery today, because if it shifts, it could get really bad. And my reaction to her was, cool! I've never had surgery like that before. That'll be so cool. Well, what? Really? Yeah. I think it's, you know, I've been in anesthesia before, and I kind of like that loopy feeling. I'm going to let you do that. I won't kill it so you can do the surgery with me. Wait, but that'll be really great. So she said, okay. I said, I'll just drive over to the hospital. No. We got to get an ambulance for you, because you really could screw this up. So the ambulance comes, they take me over, and the doctor comes in and says, okay, we've taken a look at the x-ray. You're going to need a plate with 9 screws.
Oh my.
And we're going to reconnect your shoulder. And I said, cool! I've never had that done before. And I said to the doctor, when you're doing the surgery, you may think I'm under anesthesia and all the rest of this, but I want you to say positive things, because even at that level, your subconscious mind hears everything that goes in. So you want to create a positive outcome before it even happens. One of the rules of the subconscious mind is expectations tend to be realized. If you realize my shoulder is going to be great, it's going to be great. And in my mind, I knew that. And when he said, he went into the discussion of the surgery, and I was just nodding, that's great, that's fantastic. The anesthesiologist came in, and I won't tell you the doctor's name, because he doesn't come out well in this story. But anyway, the anesthesiologist comes in, and I told him the same thing. I want you to make sure he says positive things and all. He said, okay, that's fine. We finished the surgery. Anesthesiologist comes in and says, it went really, really well. Fantastic. I knew it would. That's fantastic. And he said, but I have to ask you to remember anything. I said, not really, but the number 7 keeps popping in my head. His face got wide up. He said, really? I said, yeah. Why? He said, the doctor, the surgeon kept saying 777 to see if you really were hearing him. You can believe it.
Wow.
Because his
That's pretty cool.
expectation of what could happen was not the same as mine. But guess what? This is my body. This is my temple. This is what I create. With every thought, every idea, every action I take, it creates this. So, then my wife came in, and my wife Janet said, well, the doctor just spoke to me. He said you'll get 50, maybe 60% of the mobility back in your shoulder. And I looked at her and I just started laughing. I said, he really doesn't know me, does he? Argue for your limitations, they become yours.
That's right.
Cancel, reject that. It's my left shoulder. Do I look like I have 50 or 60% of my mobility back?
No, you got 100%.
Yeah, not quite, but it's close. And the fact is, eventually I will be there. I know that'll happen. There's no hoping, no trying. It's going to happen. I went to the physical therapy for that. The physical therapist said, okay, let me see what you can do. And I showed him my range of motion. He said, okay, how many months ago did you have the surgery? I said, 3 weeks. He goes, no. How many months ago did you have the surgery? I said, about 3 weeks. And he said, no, people don't recover like that. And I said, well, clearly they do. Here I am. So I did another month of physical therapy, and I saw the doctor. And he said, let me see what you can do. And he said, that's incredible. I've never had anyone recover like that. I've never seen them get the range of motion to that point, even after 2 or 3 years of having something that serious. And I said, what do you do now? And what I want you to do now is write that out. I want you to write, Tim used hypnosis, powers of the mind, and he recovered better than any other client I've ever had. No. Why would I do that? He was in his world. This is his world. His world, and let me give you, by the way, I won't tell you his name, but he's a wonderful surgeon. He really is. There's no denying that. He had been trained in mechanical engineering at MIT. So he understands the practice of doing something. He understands the mechanics of putting things back together. He went to Harvard Medical School, did very well there. He went and did a surgical residency for orthopedic surgery at Johns Hopkins. He was trained to be a mechanic. He knew how the mechanism worked. That's praxis. But in our lives we have what we call poesis. The word poetry comes from the Greek word poesis, the art of doing something. I recovered faster because in my mind, I already knew where I was going. The destination was there. And all I had to do was be congruent with accepting that's where I am already. Everything is moving me in that direction. That will be, for this particular aspect of my life, my North Star. The thing, if I don't get to it, I won't feel fully satisfied. And every action moves toward that. There's a wonderful quote in Alice in Wonderland. Lewis Carroll, by the way, we talk about praxis and poesis. You know who Lewis Carroll was, the person who wrote Alice in Wonderland? His real name was Charles Dodgson. He also wrote the definitive calculus text for high school students in England. So he understood the mechanics, he also understood the art of something. And Alice says, which road should I take to the Mad Hatter? And the Mad Hatter says, where are you going? She said, I don't know. He said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. You have to know where you're going. You have to understand that destination. And in our lives, we look for that one thing, that one North Star that if we don't feel, that it's super important to us, if we don't reach it, we will not feel fulfilled in our life. When you have that, you realize any barrier, any obstacle, any difficulty that gets in the way becomes meaningless. You go over it. You go under it. You go through it or you go around it, but you're going over that. Randy Pausch, who wrote the last lecture, when he was a professor at Carnegie Mellon, he talked about the fact that the barriers that are there are not to prevent you from getting to somewhere. They're there to show how badly you want to get there. They are proof to you that this is so important to me that to fail it would be to cheat myself of the best life I can have. And a life we've discussed already is you worth living. Okay. Create that filter. I'm going to give you a gift that you can utilize or you can reject. At the end of the day, I'm going to ask all of you, anyone who sees this, or the people in the room, the people on the video, I'm going to ask you to make a list of gifts and lessons from every day. A list of 5 to 6 gifts that have occurred in the course of the day. It could be someone complimented me and I accepted it and it felt good. Write those down and write about how positive it made you feel. And then 5 or 6 lessons that you learned in the course of the day. When something negative comes to you, you're going to write down that negative thing. This is what I learned from that. I learned that that person doesn't deserve to be in my life because they mistreated me, and therefore they do not have the right. I am banishing them from having the power to hurt me or control me. They can still be in my life, but I've taken away the keys to this particular abode, right? I'm taking that lesson, and that allows me to move forward. Eventually, after 2 or 3 weeks, in the course of the day when something negative happens, it's something negative, but oh, that's what I write tonight in my book to show how I am learning. Your entire mindset changes. You've created a habit of taking the negative things and moving it to the positive in your life. And that's what happens. All you end up having is gifts and lessons, and that is the permanent filter that you're creating. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. It means a great deal to me, and your attention was really appreciated. Stop snoring back there.